Welcome to the Blue Juju Podcast, brought to you by BlueJuju.com and me and Ron. My name is Jonas Macadocious. This is my co-host and always host, whatever you want to call it, Ron the Freight Train Hodgin. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. If you're not familiar with podcasts, which a lot of people aren't, and I don't know if you've missed us or not, you probably didn't, but we haven't been putting up a podcast the last couple of weeks, and we didn't expect anybody would notice, but just in case you did, here's an explanation. We were lazy and we didn't feel like doing it.
How about the holidays?
Boom. Nah, I don't need.
No?
I don't need an actual
you don't
excuse.
Need you don't need an actual excuse.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Our pet chicken was in cardiac arrest. How's that?
I figure enough people get lied to on a day-to-day basis. We don't need to do it for them. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the Blue Juju Podcast consists of weird and obscure news that is broadcast over the web. And we gather these facts that slip through the cracks, and we call it Blue Juju Podcast. We break it down in a few different sections, and our first section is called Headlines.
Headlines we deem important.
Yes. I'll take the first one, I guess. And I was talking a little bit about pet chickens. I don't have one at this point, but they can be useful because...
Nonsense, I say.
Yes, pet chickens.
What could you possibly do with a chicken? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they're not the best pets. They're actually they're rather cruel, vicious, and dumb. But that aside,
as are people.
as are
who are we talking about here?
People or chickens? Okay. Well, a man in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Dennis. I'm even gonna pronounce this. It's Murawska. Is 59. Apparently he's a good-natured soul. There was a chicken that he had that wouldn't produce any more legs, but he felt sorry for it because the chicken had a deformed foot. So he decided to keep it as a pet, and he built a cage for it, nice guy, and put it in his basement. And long story short, the chicken woke them up and saved them from a house fire.
Yes, I've heard of this story.
Yes, hero chicken. So this chicken he's got it made for life. This chicken's never gonna have to want again. Of course, he didn't anyway.
Yeah, well, I believe it was his wife that was sympathetic of the chicken, and he, obviously, being the cold-blooded son of a bitch that he was, he didn't care if it lived or died. But she said, "Hey, it has a deformity. We should take it into our house and love it." Because that's what happens. And he said, "Nonsense, woman, you're stupid."
and then proceeded to get.
Look who's stupid now.
Chicken.
They don't have a house. But they got a fucking chicken. So
got a dang chicken. That's
right.
House burnt down, but they got a chicken.
They survived a near catastrophe.
Because of the chicken.
And now he has to listen. See, I mean, he's
got to listen to his wife.
Yeah, he's not.
I was right along.
He's not dead, but he wish he was.
Because now he doesn't have no house.
Well,
have a house and a chicken.
Now he's cursing the chicken. He says, "You should just let me die." Stupid, foul chicken.
He could have collected big on the insurance, but the chicken saved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had kids to put through college. They didn't put that in the story.
Oh, did they?
No. I'm just kidding. Making it up.
As we go along?
That's right.
What else?
I did hear, like I said, there were some holiday events that obviously have been plastered all over the news.
Yeah.
But I found my own little holiday event. I figured I'd share with you. From time to time, people reach out and they do nice things for each other. The underprivileged children, people mainly they'll give toys to them,
right?
And different charities do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one charity. It was a church charity group, and this child got a let's see here. It was a teddy bear.
Okay.
as a favorite toy amongst most children.
Yeah.
Well, when she opened up the teddy bear, loaded handgun just so happened to be shoved in the back of this.
In
this
back of
said
the
toy.
teddy bear,
Well,
right?
it was donated by a church member. And
With a loaded handgun.
well, they don't know who donated it per se, but apparently that was his hiding place for his gun. He just didn't realize that he gave him the gun as well. As of right now, no one has stepped forward and claimed the gun, but I do believe the firing pin was removed. So hey, there's but the serial numbers were filed off.
Oh, okay. A loaded handgun with no firing pin. So basically, it was a paperweight. It was they gave him a paperweight in the
Yes. But imagine the
bear,
mother.
right.
Imagine the mother's surprise because the toddler thought it was a gift.
toy.
A toy. Yeah. So,
So
he starts waving this thing around. They freak out a little bit.
I guess.
And
I would.
The mother.
Child with a gun. Yeah.
Well, anyway. So in the act of this, the mother, she said she was shaking all day. And she said that she had. This is obviously right after the school shooting that had happened not too long ago. And she said that she avoided disaster nearly, and she told the paper. And but I mean, because after further inspection, they realized. I guess it wasn't a toddler; it was an 8-year-old. But after further inspection, they realized that the gun was harmless, but it could have gone a different direction. I suppose. I don't deal in what ifs per se. Not that kind of guy, but.
Well, it was somebody's hiding place for a weapon, but at least the whoever it was had the sense to take the firing pin out.
I mean, he was obviously an outstanding citizen because the serial numbers were filed off and the firing pin was removed. So,
Well, you find a gun on the street. Oh, is it your duty to try to find their owner?
I care not. I start blasting in the air. Yeehaw!
Woohoo!
Son of a bitch!
Got me a gun. Ah, yeah.
That's my story anyway.
Okay, and you're sticking to it?
That's right.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to open this sucker up. I can basically do it from memory.
Don't hurt yourself.
Oh. It's there, back there someplace. In Australia, the land of all things good, and before this I thought more of Australians, but we'll just say that the Australians have set a new world record. Yeah, the new burnout record. You know what a burnout is, right?
Yes,
the
I
car.
do.
Okay, they got over 60 cars to do a burnout for 30 seconds, and that's I'm sure they made it into the Guinness Book of World Records, and they are the burnout kings. There's no
I
doubt
believe
about it.
Colorado is trying to upset that record
Right now, as we speak.
But they're doing a different kind of burnout. They legalized marijuana. If you haven't been following the news,
So they're doing a real burnout.
Yes, they're gonna hold hands and burn out.
They're gonna hold hands and burn one, right?
Maybe. Burn out. I was thinking all of them. Just
They're all burnt out. I got you.
So we could sing Kumbaya.
Hold hands and
That's right.
and join. Well, they could. Why don't they do something really spectacular, like buds across the state? I mean, or they could just hold hands and have the longest, like doobie train, so they could just,
Why not?
hand it one to the other, and then,
It's just as arbitrary as getting a whole bunch of cars together and burning out, I suppose.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know which one's dumber, but well, it's for the audience to decide.
Yeah. I got a good one for you.
Okay.
Here we go. I have spoke about this in previous podcasts, but this one really jumped out, and I had to bring it up. Let's see here.
Okay.
This there are things people shove a lot of stuff up their ass, basically.
Man, where are we going with this?
And,
or where did they go with it? Well, we know where they went.
But and so there's a website that that shows you all kinds of weird stuff that gets crammed up people's asses. So it's an X-ray basically when they show it at the hospital. And this is a very common occurrence apparently because there's just thousands of different pictures, and some of them are toy cars, flashlights, a peanut butter jar. I saw
that's original.
That was impressive. But this one, a vibrator. Okay, it is crammed up this gentleman's ass, but and it got stuck, kind of tilted there, and but he did not leave it at that. He did not leave it at that. He decided to get salad tongs and remove it himself, and so these salad tongs
got stuck.
They got stuck as well, and so now he has a vibrator and salad tongs. But see, I don't know if I would have went with the tongs per se. I think, I made it, I maybe made something, finagled something. I have no idea exactly what I'd find myself in that situation. But nonetheless, a pretty funny little picture of a vibrator and salad tongs. I see, he tried to be proactive instead of, he's like, well, I don't need to go to the doctor. I'll just go ahead and fix this problem myself. And he ended up making it a little bit worse.
I don't know what to say here. I'm just at a loss of words.
Well, you're not an expert in this field.
Nah, not really.
No. Apparently, I've come to the wrong guy then. I was looking for answers. So.
You were looking for answers. What to do? What to do when things happen to someone else?
Well, I mean, the moral of this story is, if you get something stuck up your ass, don't make it worse.
That's right. Just go man up or woman up and just go to the doctor. And
you know what? When I was reading,
doc will have a good laugh.
When I was reading this article, when I was reading this article, a lot of people say they slipped and fell. Most of them, that's their story.
That's their story, and they're sticking to it.
And but the website, confirms that it's pretty obvious that a lot of people didn't slip and fall on a peanut butter jar.
So this is an entire website devoted to this subject.
Oh, there's medical journals documented to this subject. I mean, it's not just a website. This happens all the time. Apparently, people have a fascination with this.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a lot of mishaps in this field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think it's time for a medical specialist. They need to go to medical school.
They do have a specialist
for this. Yeah. Just for this.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Because this happens all the time.
I knew it was too good not to pass up.
Well, they say some hospitals get more patients than others, but the one in Miami apparently has quite a bit of this activity, and major cities, I would say, so. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to look at this website, let's see here. Let's try to find it. Let's see here. It's www. I can't read the top of it. Yeah, it's, I don't know. So, addeer.com, that's what it looks like. ADDR, or ADDEE.com looks like. But anyway, if anybody's interested, there's a whole bunch of funny pictures over there you can check out of people having a horrible holiday.
Horrible holiday.
That's right.
And they have attention deficit disorder.
Well, it turned out they were lonely. They didn't have anybody for the holidays, and they were like, you know what? I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to cram this here peanut butter jar up my ass, and we'll see what happens from there.
Or they gave themselves a gift for the holidays, and they were just taught to try it out.
They were lacking attention, and boy, did they get it. I got some attention after that.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you had your two stories?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So we're moving on to our next headline, and we'd like to scour the internet and find what's pushing mankind forward.
Yes.
Space news and technology.
Space news
And technology.
Okay, cool.
Lead us in there, freight train.
Yeah, huh. Clearing my throat there. It was a burnout, I'll tell you. Let's see. The news from Mars is that they have discovered a object on Mars with their microscopic robotic arm that looks suspiciously like a flower. And so this is a translucent object that looks suspiciously like a gum wrapper. Yeah. I think, aliens have been there and left gum wrappers on Mars. Yeah. See that gum wrapper right there? That's the object.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it was manufactured. But it's next to another object that's, kind of strange in its own right. But this is very, very strange because it's translucent. You can see through it. Yeah. No comment?
Yeah.
No. There hasn't ever been anything on Mars of any. Yeah, I mean, they are getting some of the weirdest things from Mars, and these are just the things that they show you. I mean, this is pretty amazing because me not being a quote unquote scientist, but having studied various things, this looks suspiciously like something artificially made.
Yeah, we've been shoving crap into space for fucking years.
Well, what are the? There's no disturbed areas around it,
and they don't even know it is a gum wrapper. It could,
yeah,
there's lots of
it's a gum wrapper.
There's lots of translucent stuff that could just there's glass. They don't even know.
Glass. Yeah. Well,
you get fusion.
Bottles.
I mean, you get fusion all the time in space. I mean, it's not anything that's
out
of the norm.
This is not tremendously close up, but the problem is that it looks like it has edges, and even that, it has round edges. It doesn't have.
I remain skeptical.
Yeah, you would, because you're going to be on the other side. You're not excited or nothing like me because of the space flower.
Space flower. I thought it was
Space
a gum
flower.
wrapper.
Well, they're calling it a flower. I'm calling
Now
it a
you're
gum
backpedaling.
wrapper. Well, it looks like a gum wrapper to me.
What's your stance on this subject, sir? Let's be clear.
I think it's artificially made, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about Mars, I'll go ahead and bring up my SpaceX story.
Aha.
If you're not familiar with SpaceX is a company that it's an independent company.
Yeah.
That is going to fund a mission to Mars, a one-way ticket for a group of I believe 10 travelers. I believe, but and they're hoping to get this trip to Mars in around 2021, somewhere around that. But they now have the go-ahead by the U.S. military. The SpaceX Expedition Technologies has signed a long-pursued customer this week, the United States Air Force. Apparently, the United States Air Force, they have a program that basically, if you're not in conjunction with the United States Air Force, then it makes it very hard to get the type of testing that you need done. Basically, the rockets that they manufactured, SpaceX, they just got the thumbs up from the United States Air Force. The Falcon launch vehicle, which was their rocket, the company founder, chief designer Elon Musk said in the statement that the Air Force will pay to SpaceX $97 million for a Falcon 9 rocket launch in 2014. The Deep Space Climate Observatory or solar telescope that will be operated by NASA. So that's what they're going to launch into space. But they are funding the SpaceX project. So that's just one of many funders they have. They have people all over the world that are chipping in pieces here, pieces there. NASA has issued a few things that they've needed and funding as well to get these guys to Mars.
Okay, well, this is the one-way trip, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I ain't going.
They wouldn't let you, sir. So we
Not
don't.
even
We don't
if I
have,
ask.
No. There's an age limit, and I'm not saying you're too old, but you're too old.
I'm too old.
Yeah.
Too old for SpaceX.
Yeah. They're having all of the contestants or whoever they started training of next year, I believe. It's going to be an environment similar to the desert. They have a group of people that are going to be living in close quarters for several years to see if they're compatible before they live on close quarters on Mars. And the general age is from 18 to 30. So.
Putting in those old people, 30? Man, you could go.
No, I can't.
Yeah, that's
not
fair.
by the time it's
okay.
by launch time.
Not by launch time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I don't care to entertain. Perhaps if I was a child, I would entertain.
Because you stand in the way of progress, sir.
New guys. I stick my wooden shoe in the cogs of the gears.
We didn't go to Mars in my day. We shouldn't be going now.
Hey, that's right, Sonny. I never heard nothing about going to Mars. No how.
No how. I'm going to play my fiddle and whittle some wood in my rocking chair on the porch.
That's what you should do. I know it.
Newfangled space flight.
Well, I prove you wrong, sir. Now, on this space news...
You prove nothing.
you are a non-entity. Now, on this space news, which I kind of agree with, this is pretty cool. On this project, you know those things that are brought up before Congress. You know, you get all the signatures, and you know.
It's called We the People.
We
website.
the People.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. The one that last month did the Death Star, right?
And some positive things. They also
I'm glad you agree.
Well, Anonymous signed a petition for the Westboro Baptist Church to be labeled a hate group. That's going through. Also, the legalization of marijuana has been a petition that's gone through, and other, I'm sure, things that are helping the United States as we speak.
Now here's an engineer's petition, and he is he's actually backing this. He wants a actual Starship Enterprise. He has decided, and rightfully so, that the Starship Enterprise is basically a sound idea for a starship, and of course we'll be roaming the planets before we go into outer space. But he wants to back the idea, and he's trying to get signatures for it. And if you look into it, actually the Starship Enterprise, our favorite ship, or at least one of mine, starships, is a viable idea. The editors and writers of the series did a very good job at thinking out the possibilities of this ship, and spent many hours, and they are viable engineering concepts. And I'll stand by that. Yes.
All right.
No comment?
I don't need to. You want to make a spaceship? How fucking realistic is that?
Well, aren't you thrilled and happy? I mean, it's maybe part of your childhood.
I'm not a Trekkie,
nor
am I a Star Wars fan. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you mean you didn't appreciate the series, though? You didn't the original Star Trek or the older.
I'm not a
models.
fanboy, is what I'm saying.
Well, neither am I, but you know, you did enjoy watching them, right?
Not
No?
Star Trek, no.
Okay.
Star Wars was a couple of movies that I didn't watch, and obviously they saw their prime in the first three, and then that's where it ends. And Disney, we'll see where they take it. Perhaps they will re-energize the franchise, but odds are.
Yeah, the bar for your entertainment is very high.
Well, what can I say?
Well, discriminating taste, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that.
All right. Hologram.
Hologram.
That's right. They are in the near future, sir.
They have them now.
Portable.
Portable. Yeah. Okay.
Portable holographic projections of 2D rather than 3D images represents a compelling alternative to the conventional image projection. Holograms that are efficient, and they work by routing the light through places where you want it. But apparently, this concept has not been done before. These will replace like TV monitors, things of that nature. Typically in boardrooms, that kind of thing, because it'll be easy to set up, and they're somewhat like projectors, but they are 3D holograms.
2D, you said.
No, 2D projections of 2D of a 3D image.
Oh, okay, right. What they're doing is the ultimate result is a 3D image, but they're using 2D projectors, right? Okay, I understand that.
Yes. And then the holograms are extremely complex and mathematical and highly calculating.
Right, yeah.
So the video applications is very difficult. Even the most powerful computers would take a minute to generate the hologram. So, but this will be, I suppose, in the near future. Lasers that are required to illuminate the holograms have, until very recently, been very expensive, and now this is why this technology is now available.
Well, in some ways, there's some things that you can't present in any other way but a hologram. But like any medium, it will probably mostly be used for entertainment and probably not that stimulating of an entertainment. But that's just my point of view. The technology probably is amazing, I'm sure, and as you say, it's highly complex. Holograms are the wish for holograms is nothing new. When I was a child and growing up, of course, I was into science and knew about such things. Holograms were possible at that time, but they were just still images. Now, moving holographic images are a completely different story, and as you say, they're very complex in their nature.
There is a special effects company that has recently had some critical acclaim for projecting holographic 3D images. Obviously, this technology was proprietary, and they had not released it to anyone because they make buku money off of it. But they had recreated Tupac as a 3D holographic. You can look it up on the internet, and it's pretty convincing. And then also, I believe Alanis Morissette has used this technology, and there's been a couple other singers that have been across the world and been able to do performances over
holographic projections.
Yeah, so they project themselves holographically, and now they don't have to travel.
Right. So this is an beta test, right?
Well, these people, I can't remember the name of the special effects group that does it, but they it's pretty convincing. It looks real.
They have a lock on the technology at this point.
It's proprietary.
Right.
So, if you want, you have to go to that company. I can't, like I said, it's one of the leading visual effects studios in the world.
Right.
But
well, now that the scientists and the engineers see that it is a viable possibility, they will, no doubt, it'll take them a couple years, but they will figure out the way that they did it, or they will figure out another way. It's just a matter of time before somebody else does and improves on it. Yes.
But they, at this point, they're saying, "Go screw yourself, guys. We got this on lock."
It's ours.
That's right.
You can't have it.
That's right.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm not a big one for social events like that, but a lot of people are, and so you could have multiple simultaneous concerts and different locations.
Yeah, it's whatever makes you happy, I guess. I don't really see. I just saw that there's been a leap in the technology, and I thought I'd bring it up over here on science or space news and technology.
But I see some good things that can come of it, and
see holographic porn coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Hollow porn.
Well, see, they thought the industry died. It's just not the case. It's just being reinvented.
Well,
that and sex robots. It's gonna happen.
Well, in any medium, that's pretty much the way it goes. The first thing printed on the Gutenberg press was the Bible, and the second thing was probably porn.
That's right.
So
It's just the way it works.
That's the way it works.
You know, you have guys making these things, and you know, I'm sure there's women involved at some point.
Well, you gotta look at technology, and what most people don't understand. They say, "Oh well, guns are bad, and this is bad, and that's bad." No, technology is technology. It's neither good nor bad. It doesn't take a moral stance. Technology is a tool. It's how you use it that is good or evil. Period.
That's right. I could use a fork for evil purposes.
You have an evil forked mind.
Or salad tongs at that.
Salad tongs. You have an evilly forked mind.
Like that guy that got the salad tong stuck up his ass, he didn't realize that could be used for harm or good. Right there.
Right there.
Evil purpose.
The evil salad tongs.
That's right.
Right.
And now he found himself in a predicament.
He found himself.
But
Bad salad tongs. Bad.
that's right. Let's see here. I believe that's all we have for space news and technology. But moving right along to our once a week, whenever we decide to gather and do this podcast, we like to search some of the strangest states in the union. We each pick a story, and then we put the stories up against each other for your entertainment, and we call it the strangest state in the union.
And now, the strangest state in the Union.
Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
By all means, sir.
What? You? Okay.
Lead
All
the
right.
charge.
Okay, I'll lead the charge. Now, Craigslist is an interesting vehicle for...
Craigslist?
Craigslist, or how do you say it?
Craig?
Craigslist. Or maybe this... Craigslist.
I'm going to go whittle my wood. Never mind.
Craigslist is an interesting social media outlet. You can find all kinds of things. You can find tools, and hey, people they get dates on it. But I'm gonna say that Kansas is the weirdest state, because on Craigslist here, a man was perusing I guess it was the personals, and it was from a lesbian couple, and they said that they wanted a sperm donor, and he says, "What? Golly gee, that's me.
I got sperm."
I mean, and what his motivation was, I don't know. I mean, apparently he was married or has recently become married. This was in 2009 that he had this encounter with a lesbian couple. When I say encounter, he donated sperm on apparently 3 times, and a daughter was conceived. And I mean, they had a legal agreement between them that he wasn't responsible, and apparently it's a fairly well crafted legal agreement, and he considered that he was safe in the legal realm, and that all was good. Again, what his motivation is, we'll get into that later, but everything was hunky-dory. He actually saw his daughter once after her birth, probably a year or so ago. But apparently the lesbian couple fell upon hard times, and one of them lost their job, and the other, who was taking care of the child, is now dependent on the state. So the state says, well, we know who the father is because there's a legal agreement. We're going to go ask the father for child support because he is the father. And so he, out of the blue, they contacted him and said, oh, and by the way, you owe $6,000 for child support. But, as we know, in children, and, it's going to be, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's $6,000 now, and then it's a monthly payment, and so on and so forth. So he hired himself a lawyer, and he's fighting the case. But
I would hope so.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. It's but first of all, what was his motivation? And second of all, what is the state's motivation?
Well, it's one of those stories that you look at and you're like, well, this is common sense. Like, okay, you have a sperm bank, right?
Yeah.
And, you have all these anonymous donors. Was the state going to go after every anonymous donor that,
Well, their contention, this is the state's contention, which actually is a faulty legal idea because I'll examine it. The state's contention is that they don't know if they know that he's the father, but for all the state knows that he and the lesbian woman are lovers, and this was not an artificial insemination. This was a natural act, and so he is responsible because he could be the biological father, which yes he is, but he could be the lover or the actual inseminator, the progenitor of the act, shall we say?
Well, I would hope that whatever documentation he did have beforehand would say, hey, look. And I just bring up the Craigslist and be like, check it out.
Yeah,
I found her on Craigslist. And
yeah,
it's like we didn't interact anyway. I just kind of let loose in a petri dish, and then that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know if he was married in the time, but can you see, hey, honey, I got something to do. I got to go impregnate a lesbian couple, with a child. I'll be back in a few.
It's hard to speculate because there's been stranger marriage
proposals.
There's this one guy. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's a friend of, I believe, Joe Rogan. But he basically the arrangement he has between his wife and him is he's a businessman of sorts, and he's gone to this massage parlor since before they knew each other, right? And every Friday he will go and have a full release massage. Right, he says this is just something that he does. He does all the time. And he was upfront with her while they were dating. And he says, "Hey, this is
my life.
It's nothing sexual. This is just the way it is. This is the way I live my life. This is me. Yeah. And if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. If you're not, then that's fine too. Well, they end up getting married, and they still have this agreement. So, like I said, there's been stranger agreements put in, and I'm thinking maybe this wife didn't want to have a child, and maybe he wanted to spread his seed, and he'd be like, "Well, if you're not gonna give me what I want, woman, then I'm gonna spread my seed through other uterus."
But the thing about it is he wanted no responsibility. He wanted no contact. That was in the legal agreement. He just, for whatever, I can't fathom his thought process. Well, why do I want to do this? But he didn't want any contact. He wanted to give no support. He disavowed himself as the father, anything but the biological sense, because that was obvious.
Don't we really all want that? I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe as a subconscious, as a racial thing, as a human thing, you want to exist versus not existing, and that's why children are important, because you only have a limited lifespan and blah 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 blah, and it's deeper than that. I guess, but there's been many books written on the subject of parenting and relationships between men and women, so that they could have a family and so on and so forth. But here's a guy. He just saw an ad and said, "Hey, they want children. I think that's a good idea, but I don't want to have anything to do with it except I'll give them some sperm in this cup."
That's what they wanted. That's
okay.
What they wanted.
But his mistake was that the state intervened and said, and this is where the state has a legal faulty idea. Because,
well, I think he has a pretty ironclad case, I would hope, anyway, because it's one of those common sense things.
Well, he does, but the thing about it is if the state, since it's tried in the state courts, it may be a different matter. You can sue anybody for anything, and the state can basically sue you for anything, but the only problem is the state has a lot more resources than you do. Many cases have occurred where the person was obviously in the right, but the state just kept pushing the issue and pouring millions and millions of dollars into the court system, which they basically own. So they bankrupt the person no matter how rich they are over the issue at hand. And so, oh well, they win. Or even if they lose, they win because the person is no longer they don't have any money, so hey, they might as well go in the poorhouse. So let that be a lesson to the people. Don't sue the state, or if people are in the court system, they should be very wary of being sued by the state, which is not a good thing. But the court system is at fault because they are presuming guilt upon this person. They're saying that he's the lover, okay, but they have to prove that he was the lover of this woman. So they're saying you're guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. It's not that, which in reality it is the other way around. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, I mean, babies die in drive-bys, so weird things happen to weird people, I suppose. But you can't explain everything. But no, I agree. Whatever. States are assholes, and they can continue to be assholes.
Well.
And I'll go ahead. Yes, definitely a good contender for straight to.
Aha! I win.
I didn't say that. Count your chickens, buddy.
Okay. All right.
But strangest state in the union. Milwaukee is my choice. Let's see here. This gentleman over the holidays, apparently, this officer confronted a clown, right? And the clown was reportedly chasing cars with a squirt gun, as clowns do. When the officer reached out to grab the clown, he resisted arrest.
No.
And the next thing you know, they were rolling around.
The clown
on the
was downtown.
No, they were rolling around on the sidewalk. I'll let you finish your story. Let me finish mine. Anyway, the clown was resisting arrest, and the cop needed to do what he needed to do to make what was safe. But there was a gentleman with a camera phone, if you will, and he caught the whole thing on tape. The man says it was funny to witness seeing a cop roll around with a clown. I suppose that would be humorous. Probably not so fun for the clown though. Mm. And yeah, I guess they have a thing with clowns and squirt guns, but it's just
okay. So it's illegal to have a squirt gun. Is that what?
Apparently, he deemed it unsafe for this clown to have this squirt gun,
and the clown didn't want to give him the squirt gun.
Apparently not. So they rolled around on the ground, and he subdued said clown. I think he subdued him, but the clown was quite upset. Did not want to give away said squirt gun to the police. Mm. But this also happened shortly after the incident in Sandy Hook. So,
right. Well, people should have some common sense. I mean, both of those people should have had some common sense. I think both the policeman and the clown.
Yes,
I'm gonna say now. What would he see? He presented something. Now, if the clown had water balloons, especially if it was that time of year, apparently in the picture there it's freezing outside. Now that would have been a different story. Yeah. Yes. They could water balloon people all day long, right?
Well, if they were in the shape of grenades?
No.
Absolutely not.
Not?
I don't know. I'm just speculating. But now, it was just one of those strange stories you hear. Apparently there was also a kid in Milwaukee as well that it was the day of the Sandy Hook shooting, and he made a gesture to not 6-year-old, by the way. He made a gesture with the hand saying he was going to shoot a kid, as kids do. This kid got suspended, and now there is legal action pending the suspension. Of
the child.
Well, yes, the people, the parents, they got a lawyer, and the lawyer saying this is going to be detrimental to the kid.
Well, yeah.
But whatever.
Well, people, should use common sense, and children are children. Uh-oh.
My bad.
If you're going to go that far, then what you need to do is ban all cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons, every one of them should be banned.
That's right.
Because they show behavior that is not conducive to society. So let's ban all that. Oh, well, let's ban the news because they have references and mentions of violence. We'll ban that. And so we'll ban everything, and then, everybody will be safe. But the problem is when you take away people's rights, you're the tyrant. Yeah.
Anyway, that's our strangest state in the union. You can go over to bluejuju.com, and there's a comment box. No one's ever written back to us on this thing before.
I win.
But no one's ever written back to us before. And I don't suspect anyone's going to write back to us now. But if you would like to chime in on this and say, hey, which do you support, the jerking off in a petri dish or would you like
rolling clowns
squirt gun? It's totally up to you, and you can decide which state you think is the strangest in our union. Moving on to our next category. We like to do a little thing. It's called Conspiracy Corner, and we've never made a official video for this, but we do have a mascot. His name's Hitler Baby. There's Hitler Baby.
And a cute baby he is.
Right.
Like all babies, I'm sure Hitler was a cute baby.
That's right.
and that's the way it is.
That's right. Anyway, would you like to lead off today's Conspiracy Corner, sir?
Why, sure. I'll lead off today's Conspiracy Corner. Since children are a big thing in most people's lives, not ours especially. I mean, I love children. Nothing wrong with children as long as they're somebody else's.
We're like an hour or two, am I right, guys?
Huh?
Am I right?
That's right.
Anyway, go ahead.
I ain't doing nothing in no petri dishes. So them women's can steal my sperms.
That's right.
Sperm stealing petri dishes. No, not me. But in millions of homes throughout the world, and especially here in the United States, children are being poisoned on a regular basis. Or at least the poison load in their system is being maintained by these devices, these nefarious, sinister, evil devices of various sorts. And you see them here and you see them there. And what are these devices? Well, let us say that they are in most people's homes. They're not here, thankfully. But in a lot of people's homes and in your workplace, you're continually bombarded by the scent. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about plug-in air fresheners. I'm talking about spritzers that, on a regular basis pollute the air with their fragrance. For what purpose?
To smell good.
Oh, to smell good. To do what? Cover other scents up? Yeah, possibly. Or, in this case, we're going a little bit deeper into it. Okay, this is on helium.com, and I can get the guy's name that wrote it a little bit later. And not only that, but the scents that are in fresheners for clothes. Okay, well, this is even worse because you wear it. But they're all related. The artificial scent industry. That is the conspiracy. Okay. They automatically discharge chemicals into the air. Okay? Fact. They are not regulated by any agency, governmental or private. Fact. They contain chemicals. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm going to mess it up. Let's see. PHTHALATES. They're chemicals that are used to dissolve and disperse the fragrances, but they've been shown to cause cancer and hormonal problems. And
What doesn't, or am I right, guys? Am I right?
Well, this could be one reason why the sperm count of the average male throughout the civilized world has been going down for the last 40, 50 years.
Doesn't sound like a problem to me. Last time I checked, overpopulation is a thing.
Well, let us put it like this: if there was a problem and there is a problem that people can't conceive anymore, both men and women. Well, this can be one of the problems because it causes hormonal imbalances in people's lives, in their
breeding
children.
Should be regulated. I think breeding should be regulated.
Breeding,
Just
a breeding permit. Well, hey, I'm not a eugenicist, but it does seem that some people shouldn't breed. That's for sure. I mean, I'm not for regulation or control because
nature does this.
Yeah, nature does this, and sooner or later.
But we don't for some reason.
Right.
If you're ugly, you shouldn't have a kid. It's just the way it goes.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do they? Yeah. Why? Because, I don't know, you can donate sperm.
Right. You can find some willing lesbians to have your child.
That's right. Bam. You just spread your ugly seed all over the earth.
Wait.
Now we got ugly people. What are we gonna do now?
What are we gonna do now?
Jesus.
Okay, these fresheners are in 75% of the homes in the United States. 75%. So that means that it's hundreds of millions of people that are continually, bombarded with these fragrances, whatever they call them.
That's what they have this thing. It's called popcorn lung. Yeah, apparently, if you pop too much popcorn, then you can get cancer, and this popcorn lung thing. So I mean, really, you can nitpick as much as you want.
Well, these people are going to continue on. Okay. And the reasons behind these is okay, and those chemicals that I mentioned before, PHTHALATES, they are also known to be addictive or possibly addictive. So even though they're bad for you, they have addictive properties. So people will continue to plug these things in or spritz themselves or spritz other people with these chemicals, even if there is no odor to hide, because they say it makes the place smell better. Well, but they're also endangering their health and the health of others. It's also especially bad for people with asthma. Do I smell a class action lawsuit? Go, asthma sufferers. When you walk into that bathroom and that baby spritzes you in the face and you have an asthmatic attack and fall on the bathroom floor, what are you going to do?
I just don't see the news overrun with these stories, to be honest with you.
Well, that's why there's a conspiracy.
Ah.
Okay, and
you know what else is dangerous to life? Living.
You are just a ball of sunshine. I am uncovering the dirty underbelly of.
You know what's harmful to your health? Being alive.
Being alive. Well, this is true, but in many places, there's no choice but to breathe the air that these things are secreted in. You walk into an office or a doctor's office or whatever, and there's just this reek of these things that are plugged in, and there's no escape from that. You have to breathe. What do you walk in there with a portable oxygen tank? If you're
that concerned about it, I suppose that would be your answer.
And here's the quote: commercials that market these products target people's natural inclinations to avoid seemingly dirty, be seen dirty or unclean in by their friends or neighbors. Okay, and they're used to cover up scents, tobacco, dirty laundry, blah 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 blah. But, and here's the thing: by promising to save you any such embarrassment, the air freshener companies are portraying themselves and their products as saviors of our collective dignity. In reality, what they're doing is convincing us to pollute the air in our homes and to pay them for it. And as we see in the earlier article, to decrease our level of health through, our lungs and our hormonal systems. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Didn't know they were bringing us down from that.
They're bringing us down from the inside.
Yeah. They're like, we'll get them. We're not watching the bottom line. We want to kill off human beings in general. I had no idea.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
You watch Smell-o-vision, don't you? What it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, never. Well, at one point they were actually considering to have scents that were introduced along with the movie or the television itself. It never quite got off the ground for some unknown reason. Probably because people, at that point were smart enough to consider that, hey, I don't want a movie that smells or makes me smell something. Well, I hope not.
Wow, better technology came along, I suppose.
Yeah.
Such as HD.
HD, not smell-o-vision.
But I have a conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, Wingdings. Are you familiar with this font?
Wingdings.
Yes, it's a font that shows. It was developed by Microsoft. It's called Wingdings. You switch your font over to Wingdings. Everybody's familiar with it if you have a Microsoft product.
Not me, but then I'm a Luddite, right?
Yeah, well, just not paying attention, I guess. I was familiar with this in the 4th grade.
Oh, well, so, they didn't teach me such things.
Yeah. But nonetheless, apparently the Wingdings have been predicting the end of the world for quite some time, and we were just unaware of it.
Mm-hmm,
so as a conspiracy, they've been keeping this under wraps, but it's clear to see if you put the font on and you type in NYC, you get a picture of cross and bones, a Jewish sign, and a thumbs up. That's right. That means the Jews are taking over the world. Okay. And and also, apparently it also predicted the 9/11 attacks, because as you can see here, if you type in 9/11, September 9/11, whatever. Let's see here. Actually, 9/11, 9/11/11, when somebody found that Q33NY. But anyway,
a code anyway.
But anyway, there's a picture of a plane, what looks like two buildings, but actually it's a spreadsheet. But whatever.
Two spreadsheet buildings.
But
right.
we'll call it a building.
Right.
And then also the crossbones and the Jewish symbol
and
once
the
again.
Skull.
The crossbones, yeah. And then the Jewish symbol once again.
Right.
So, little to everyone's knowledge.
It was right there.
The Wingdings, apparently, this is a ploy from Microsoft. They know way more than they're telling us. And this is a conspiracy that I think everyone should be concerned about, because they're obviously causing these events to happen. Because they made the language. What other reason would there be?
It's obvious to me.
It's obvious.
This is a conspiracy of the first order.
That's right.
I think we should, investigate this.
It needs to be addressed,
Right now.
That's right. Still not convinced something's up. This one actually crossed over into the mainstream media before 9/11. That's the one I just talked about. But yeah,
the plane, the two towers, and the
spreadsheets.
No, those are towers. It's obvious.
They
to
look
me.
like towers to me.
Right. Well, a symbol is a symbol until you interpret it as something else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and apparently the Jews, they're responsible for it. So all you neo-Nazis out there, you were right the whole time. Who knew?
Well, hey, I'm not gonna say that's.
This is a legitimate conspiracy, sir.
Is this tinfoil hat?
I found it on cracked.com.
Is there tinfoil under that cap?
There is not.
You see, I don't wear a hat, so that means
But I pick these conspiracies because I like to show light on how stupid some of these things can be.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of people that they'll be like, oh, conspiracy this, conspiracy that, and there is a person that sat around and thought up this conspiracy and thought this was a real concern for the general public to know, and so there you go.
Well, people sit around folding dollar bills, and they, look at fonts and things like that. And there are things that coincide that have no reason to coincide. And I think of it as, I think it's called synchronicity.
Whatever just happened to crazy? Can't you just be crazy anymore?
Can't you just be crazy? Just say, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you're a paranoid schizophrenic.
That's right.
Yeah, you're just
There's a lot
nuts
more
out of
there,
the head.
A lot more out there than you think.
Yeah.
But, there's also, I guess, some legitimate conspiracies out there. But I like to bring up the ones that are just totally ridiculous. So, there it is. Winding conspiracy.
I'm looking into that.
We're going to be taken down by Microsoft any day.
Any day.
Any day.
Well, I mean, if you hunt for information long enough and hard enough in something, you will find it.
Yeah, I think I told you I showed you the Stan Lee conspiracy with the light on the inside of the fridge.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you know that light goes out? How do you not know that it's just the electrical company conglomerating with these refrigerator companies to keep that light on to drive your bill up so they get more money? That's the bottom line, and we should just put a stop to it.
There is. You just take the light out. Well, I understand. I know what you're talking about. And, yes, he's making light of the situation of conspiracies, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, those are our conspiracies. We do have one more category before we end our podcast.
We can't end. I love this stuff.
Yeah. It's, we call it speculative or apodictic.
Yeah.
Is it
speculative
or
apodictic?
Okay, speculative or apodictic.
And if you're not familiar with this, with the Blue Juju podcast, what we do is we take a true statement or a false statement, and we let you decide whether it is true or false, and then we'll get back to you on our next podcast and give you the answer. It's been so long since our last podcast, I don't recall what it was.
Well,
so Ron usually heads this up, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Okay. I'm going to say that not the last podcast, but 2 weeks ago, or maybe over 2 weeks ago now, I asked the question, the Neanderthals, or in the proper pronunciation, I was told Neanderthals, have all died out. They're gone. They're history. Kaputski, never to be seen again. Well, this is somewhat of a inherently false statement. There are Neanderthal genes in all of us. Apparently, the human race, being the frisky critters that they are, interbred with both Cro-Magnon, man, and Neanderthals. So you have some of the Neanderthal genes, and it's perfectly possible that a lot of people have almost pure Neanderthal genes. I've seen some on the street. And as my instructor once said, that you can see examples of all the previous human lineages in the general population, and some traits are more pronounced than others. It just depends on where you are. And and would it be possible to recreate a almost pure Neanderthal? Probably, with some time and a genetic lab and all that good stuff. So, and it's not all bad. The Neanderthals have certain features and characteristics.
They had retard strength.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. They had crazy strength. In some ways, they didn't understand abstract thinking, apparently the way that modern man does.
This is all speculative as well.
This is true. This is true. Apparently, they, for whatever reason, they were the losers in the evolutionary game, but they are not gone.
That is not speculative. That is fact.
Right. Well, for many years it was said that the modern man wiped out the Neanderthals en masse, and that's been proven not to be the case. Apparently, there was interaction over many thousands of years. They probably had different tribes, and you got to realize that in the beginnings of civilization, that it was a hit or miss whether mankind would either survive or not survive. The total sum of mankind, or at least that's what we've been told. There's other archaeological possibilities that we can't go into right now, but let's consider that they might be right. But the populations did have interaction, and they did interbreed, and this is found in caves in Israel and other places where you would find modern man and Neanderthals, and then you would find interbreeding between them because they found it from the DNA of their bones. So it was a love fest. Yeah.
Well, there's also another theory as well, where that at one point modern man or Homo sapien actually split from Neanderthal, but since the split happened at the same time, like yes, evolved from Neanderthal, but since there was still Neanderthals around, then obviously there was some interbreeding going on. But they say that the other theory is that it split from that lineage, and then they all just kind of like when you have a any other kind of animal that splits from its lineage, they could still mate or interact with that species, but they developed other traits, and so they say that perhaps man evolved from it, but there was a time where they coexisted, and no one wants to bring home an ugly chick to mom, so there was a
well, some men like them big women's, the Neanderthals.
They probably interacted, but it wasn't something that was it probably wasn't shined upon. They were like, yeah, nice nice Neanderthal woman you got there. It's probably like
love that brow.
It was probably looked upon as similar to incest. That kind of thing. Frowned upon. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of theories, and you're right. The common theory is that modern man came from Neanderthal, was a mutation, and then broke off. But obviously they could interbreed, and obviously we all have those genes, some more than others. Whether they're good or bad, we have them, and we might as well live with that. So
I have been.
Yes.
I've been living with it. I don't know how I've done it.
Me either. I was trying to get rid of the Neanderthal for a long time, and he just won't go away. You got to learn to love the Neanderthal. Whittling wood on the porch. That's
it. Yeah.
Well, they have said, that they make out the Neanderthal as a brutish race. In some ways, they probably were. They probably had a very tight sense of clan. They had to survive in the conditions that they were in. They had probably a great sense of time, probably a better sense of time than modern man, and they probably paid a lot more attention to the nature around them than modern man did. They were probably much more in tune with nature, and today they would be probably considered tree huggers. Neanderthal.
And ugly.
Ugly tree huggers.
That's right. See, nature took care of that problem for us. I'll go back to my previous statement. Is you start breeding ugly people, and what do you get? A whole bunch of ugly people. Well, they realized this was a problem. And they were like, we can't breed with these ugly people anymore.
We'll take care of this.
So they killed. They might have bred with them because guys would be guys.
Right.
And but like, hey, these kids are ugly. Obviously something wrong with them. Kill them, kill that guy. There it goes.
They tried to breed the ugly out, but it just didn't work.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to love an ugly kid.
It's hard to it's hard to de-uglify. No. A mother always loves their child.
So they say, but deep down they're like a kid.
Well,
ugly.
a normal mother always loves her child. That's
what they say. But you really don't know what's clicking upstairs, do you?
Well, no. it's hard to figure out, but that's what I'm gonna say. I mean, a mother's love is one of those wonderful things.
Oxytocin, I believe is what it's called. And it's a drug that's released in your body whenever you pet your dog as well. Yeah, so.
It's involved with sentiment and caring, probably.
Well, it gives you a reason to like something and not kill it, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'd just be a lot of dead things around, and probably the human race wouldn't exist at this point either. We'd have blown ourselves up.
All right. But what's your speculative or apodictic for this week?
Okay. Well, this was for a couple weeks ago, but cigarettes are all bad. I mean, there's no saving graces about cigarettes, and they're just dangerous, and they hurt you. Sooner or later you get cancer, you die, and
what else
horrible,
is bad?
horrible. What?
Living. You know what else kills you?
Yeah.
Living.
Oh, I'm
Right.
born to die.
If you want to look at it that way.
Well, yeah. Well, it's the stuff in between that makes human existence right.
No one wants cancer. I understand this. Continue.
Well, that's the speculator or apodictic. Cigarettes should be, in all purposes, they should be banned. They should be made illegal. That's it.
All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. They should be put on the list of very dangerous drugs because there's no social redeeming value for cigarettes.
I just yes, I will leave it at the speculative apodictic, but I don't care if it's crack cocaine. I don't think you should make it illegal for me to have it. I don't particularly enjoy crack cocaine, but I don't enjoy anyone telling me I can't do it either.
If I was a reporter, I would ask, is this from personal experience? No, I know it's not.
Actually, I've never smoked crack cocaine. How about you, Ron?
Not me. You can look at. Of course not.
But no, then that's going to end our podcast, and that's going to leave you with something to think about for next week. So, on behalf of BlueJuju.com, this is the Blue Juju Podcast. My name is Jonas Macadocious, a.k.a. Jonas.
I'm the freight train.
That's right, freight train. But we usually do these about once a week or whenever we feel like it. So tune in and enjoy the podcast, and we will see you next time.
Bye.